in this class, you have to pay attention to the words, okay? So when it says increase, we're talking about adding, right? Okay, so we're going to do 70 times our 50%. How do we turn a percent into a decimal? How do we turn a percent into a decimal? We divide by 100, or we move the decimal place over twice. Okay, so 50% will be 0.5. So we'll do 70 times 0.5, and that gave you 35. Now they want us to increase, so that means we're going to add 35 plus our 70, and that's going to give us a final answer of 105. Everybody okay on that? Okay. On the next one, it says decrease. This is going to mean that we're going to subtract. Okay, so we're going to do 44 times 0.25, and that's going to give us, what is that when we put it in our calculator? 11. And so that means that we're going to decrease. So that means we're going to say 44 minus 11, and that's going to give us 33. Everybody good? Okay. Same thing on the next one. A lot of people made this mistake. When you convert this percent to a decimal, a lot of you put 0.26. Remember, it's 2 decimal places. So we're going to have 0.026. So 28 times 0.026, what does that give me? 0.728. Okay. And it said decrease, so we're going to subtract. So 28 minus 0.728, what does that give me? Say it again, 27.272. Everybody okay on those 3? Okay, then a lot of people got stuck on the word problems. So a lot of people got stuck on number 4. Okay, let's talk about it. If you bought a stock last year for the price of $139 and it's gone down, if we say something has gone down, what does that mean? We're going to subtract. So gone down means subtract. Okay. 1.2% since then. How much is the stock worth now? Okay, so first thing, we want to convert that percentage to a decimal. So we're going to move it 2 places. And then we're going to multiply 139 times 0.012. Tell me what you get. So 1.67. Okay, so we're going to take 139 and we're going to subtract 1.67. And what does that give me? 137.30. 33. Questions on that one? Okay, I want you to take a moment, try number 5. Okay, remember tax is always added onto the original. Okay, so take a second, try that one. All right, so I got 74.83. Yes. Okay. All right. Hey, babe. Okay, so we're going to switch gears just a little bit. Okay, so go ahead and look at the packet from yesterday. So we're going to put a pause on this. Okay, we're going to come back to it. Go ahead and look at the packet, and you're going to look for 1.2. So lesson 1.2. Lesson 1.2. Okay. So lesson 1.2. So it says intro to ratios or applications of ratios. Okay. All right. So we're going to start on this. Okay. So I can use ratios to calculate the relationship between 2 categories, and I can interpret ratios in context. Okay. What is a ratio? What is a ratio? Do we know? A ratio is going to be a fraction. Normally, when we say a ratio, we mean fraction. Yes? Okay, so with ratio, a ratio is a quotient of 2 numbers. Word quotient means to divide, right? Right? Remember, per means to divide. Per means to divide. So when we talk about a quotient, remember back in elementary school, we talked about division. Okay. Whenever we say the word per, like miles per hour, we mean miles divided by hours. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. If we say price per ounce, that means that we're taking our price and dividing it by ounces. Okay, good. So the word per means to divide. Okay. So example 1, Mandy stops for gas. She spends $27.05 for 840 gallons of gas. According to her trip meter, she has driven 281 miles since the last time she filled her tank. What is the price per gallon of gas? So what are they asking for? So they're asking for price divided by gallons. So how much did she spend? So they're asking for price divided by gallons. How much did she spend? 5 cents. Okay. And then how many gallons does she get? Okay. So 8.40. Go ahead and type this into your calculator. What did you get? Okay, so $3.22 per gallon. Okay, fuel efficiency is super important, right? How many of y'all have a car? Okay, so if you buy a Hummer and you drive from here to Atlanta every single day, that's going to be expensive, right? Because like a Hummer uses a lot of gas, right? So fuel efficiency is real important when you're purchasing a car, because if you're going to drive a ton, you definitely need something that's good on gas. So we're going to find her fuel efficiency in miles per gallon. So here it is again. We got miles divided by gallons. So how many miles did she drive? Looking back up here, how many miles? 281.8. And we're going to divide it by how many gallons did she buy? How many gallons did she buy? 8.40, right? So go ahead and type this into your calculator. 281.8 divided by 8.4. That's going to give us 33.5 miles per gallon, or MPG. Okay, if you look at one of the newer cars on the display, it normally tells you how many miles per gallon that car gets. Okay, just as a side note, 33 is pretty good. Like 33 is like really good. If you drive a truck, it's probably between like 12 to 18. If you drive like an SUV, normally it's about 20 to like 27. And then if you have like a Toyota, normally they're like around 30, right? Okay. Looking at that next box, we're talking about unit price per ounce of a can of tuna. Okay, when you go shopping, you'll see a price tag and it'll say, hey, the item costs, let's say like $3.99. And then there's like a little sticker at the bottom that's yellow and it says like 19 point something, right? That's the cents, how much it costs in cents per unit. So let's say like it's a pack of paper towel rolls. Okay, that little yellow sticker tells you per paper towel roll, how expensive it is. Does that make sense? So the next time that you go shopping, look at that unit price, okay? Take a moment, go ahead and try that next section. So read over and see if you can calculate the unit price per ounce for that next section. Take a moment, read that one over, try that one. You go shopping. So let's say that this is the sticker price. So we're buying Cheerios and it's a 12-ounce box and it's $2.98 for the whole box, right? If we wanted to look at it per ounce, it would cost 24.9 cents per ounce. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe. Say again.
Just one more time.
Okay, so the whole container, when I'm buying this, if I'm buying Cheerios, a 12-ounce container of it is $2.98. If I wanted to look at how much it costs per ounce, I'm going to look at this little orange sticker, and this says 24.9 cents per ounce. Okay, the higher that unit price is, the more expensive that product is per ounce or per unit, whatever it's measured in. Okay, so if you're trying to compare things, you're looking for the cheaper per unit value. Okay, and we're going to talk about that more in just a second. Okay, so coming back to this, you have a can of tuna that costs $1.25 for a 6.5 ounce can. What is the price per ounce to the nearest tenth of a cent? Okay, so you're taking $1.25 and you're going to divide it by 6.5 ounces. What'd you get? Okay, so this is 19.2 cents. So when we write it out, do you remember back in elementary school, this symbol? Okay, this is cents, right? So we're going to write this as 19.2 cents. The other way you might see this is if it says the $1.19. You got to make sure that you're careful on your units. Yeah. Okay, so Delman's raisins are sold in two sizes. The 12-ounce package is $1.29 and the 24-ounce package is $1.99. Based on the price alone, which is the better buy? Okay, so this often happens like when you're buying toilet paper or you're buying paper towels or whatever, right? So we're going to take the $1.29 and divide it by 12. And then we're going to take the $1.99 and divide it by 24. Tell me what you get with this first one. You got 0.108, right? Now, if we're putting that in cents term, we're going to say 10.8 cents per ounce. Okay. For the $1.99, when we divide it by 24, we're going to get 0.083, which will be 8.3 cents. So which one is the better buy, the 12-ounce or the 24-ounce? Which one? Which one's cheaper? The 24. Yeah. So we want the unit price to be lower. That makes it cheaper. Yes, we get more bang for a buck. Okay, so the 24-ounce is cheaper. Yep.
This also applies to when I'm viewing the comparing prices from different stores, because I just constantly tell my mom that, oh my gosh, this place is so expensive and this is so much cheaper and the other store wants to rob me.
Yeah. You always want to look at the packaging at stores because there's a difference in the packaging. And so that also plays a factor into this. Yeah, you always want to look at the unit price. Don't just look at the overall price. You want to look at the unit price because that tells you whether or not how expensive it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We okay? I didn't lose anybody? Okay. So example 2, Mark wants to buy salad dressing. The option with the lowest unit price is the gallon jug. Mark's household consists of 3 people. The salad dressing will expire in 6 months. Do you think he should buy the gallon jug? You got 3 people in the house. Y'all know how big a gallon jug is, right? Like think of a gallon of milk, right? Are you going to use that much salad dressing in 6 months? I'm not. Okay. Probably not the best idea for him to buy the gallon jug. Why? Because in 6 months, he's just going to throw it out, right? So now he's wasting money. So even though it had the cheaper price, it wasn't the best option for his family. Does that make sense? Okay. So probably not. Because he will most likely have to throw it away. Good? Actually be able to compare them. So you've got a $15 shirt divided by 3 times that you wear it. So what's 15 divided by 3? Okay, so it's $5 per wear, basically. Yeah, so every time that you wore that shirt, you spend in that $5, right? Now, on the next one, we've got a $45 shirt over 50 times a wear. So when we do that, we're going to get 90 cents per wear. So which one's the cheaper option? This guy, right? So this would probably be the better option. Now, do you have some clothes that you only wear like 3 times a year? Yeah. Yeah, like special occasions and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So sometimes it's good to have those clothing items. But if you're trying to buy something for everyday wear, you also want to look at how much does it cost, right? Okay. Go ahead and flip the page. Okay. We're going to talk about body mass index and waist to height ratio today. Do y'all remember what body mass index is? What is it? Do you remember?
I don't.
Go ahead. What's that? Okay. So it's your height and your weight, right? And it's a ratio. Go ahead. Why do you multiply it by 100? Why do you put it in like the cents instead of like the dollar sign? Is that what you're asking? Because we're, instead of doing the dollar sign 0.19, we put it into cents. Because otherwise we would say 0.19. It's just easier to say 19.2. Yeah, they're just trying to make things complicated. That's really it. Okay, all right, go ahead and go to lunch. I'll see you when you get back, and we'll pick it up from there. Okay, so body mass index. So being overweight or obese substantially increases your risk of developing cardiovascular disease, including coronary, can't say words, artery disease, CAD, heart attack, and stroke. So doctors want to assess patients to determine cardiovascular risk. A body mass index is a convenient way to categorize a person based on the weight and height. Okay, so here is the formula. You're going to want to star it, highlight, circle. You're going to need this on quiz on Tuesday. So you're going to need that on Tuesday. Okay. Other things that you're going to need is this conversion. So from 1 kilogram, it equals 2.2 pounds. For 1 meter, it's going to be 39.4 inches. Okay, so again, I would star, highlight, circle this because you're going to need it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do when we're calculating BMI is we're going to convert weight to kilograms and height to meters. Okay, so everybody sees that we have kilograms in our formula and meters squared in our formula. Okay. The BMI is the most useful statistical measure for populations, not individuals. So if I were to calculate my BMI, technically, according to this chart, I would be considered overweight. So with that being said, I don't think I'm overweight, but I could be, you know? So this is not really good for just individual basis. It has many limitations when applied to individual health predictions, especially individuals with abdominal obesity, short stature, or high muscle mass. Okay. So it does not account for muscle mass. All right. Let's go ahead and look at our first person. Okay. So we have person A. This person is 15 years old and they weigh 117 pounds. We're going to convert it to kilograms. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to take 117 and we're going to divide it by, how many pounds is it to equal a kilogram? 2.2. So we're going to take 2.2. So if we do 117 divided by 2.2, we're going to get 53.2 kilograms. Everybody see how we did that? So for weight, we're going to take our pounds and divide it by 2.2. Now for height, we're going to take the number of inches, okay? And we're going to divide it by 39.4. So we're going to take 68.1 and divide it by 39.4. And when we do that, we're going to get 1.73. So again, we take our height in inches and we divide it by 39.4. Everybody okay so far? Say it again. Okay, so we took 68.1 inches and we divided it by 39.4. And that's from the conversion of 1 meter equals 39.4 inches. Yep. Yes, you should know this conversion. So the 1 meter equals 39.4, and then 1 kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. Yeah, right. 2.2 pounds. Those are the two things you got to know. The formula, I will give it to you. Okay, but you need to know the conversions. Okay. Now, if we're calculating the BMI, what was the formula for BMI? Look at your paper. What is the formula for BMI? It's our kilograms divided by our height in meters squared. We're going to type that into our calculator. Do not use an iPhone to calculate this. You're not going to be able to. It's going to mess up. Okay, so you're going to want to go into Desmos and type that in. Okay, so 53.2 divided by 1.73 squared. So it's going to look like this. So 53.2 divided by 1.73 squared. The way you get this little squared is you hit shift and then the number 6, or you can come down here to the keyboard and hit this little button that says a raised to the b power. Okay. So what's the BMI for this guy? Let's just round it to 17.8, right? Okay. So looking at the chart above, what category do they fall in? So their BMI is 17.8. What category do they fall in?
No, underweight.
Underweight. Okay. So they are underweight. So what would be a recommendation for this person if they're underweight? Like, what would you tell them to do? Eat more, maybe exercise less, or rest more, right? We okay on this? Okay. Can you try person number B? Or I'm sorry, person B. Can you calculate their kilograms weight, their height in meters, calculate the BMI, tell me what the category is? All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, so in order for you to calculate the weight, remember, we're going to divide by 2.2. Okay, so you're going to take 225, divide it by 2.2. What'd you get? Hopefully 102.3. Okay, cool. Then you're going to calculate your height in meters. Okay, so we're going to take 61 and divide it by 39.4. And that's going to give us 1.55. Good on that? Okay. The last thing, we're going to calculate our BMI. Okay, so we're going to take our weight, which is 102.3, and divide it by 1.55. Okay, somebody asked me, do you always square it? Yes. Remember, our formula is our our kilograms divided by our meters squared. Okay, and that's going to give us 42.6. Looking at your categories, what is this considered? Class 3 obesity. So what do you recommend for this person? Okay, so move more, consume less calories. Okay, have y'all ever seen My 600-Pound Life?
Yes.
I love that show. I love the little doctor on that show. Okay, it's exactly what he says. Consume less calories, right? I know, easier said than done. Now, there's some parts to this that might be genetic. There might be some thyroid issues. There might be some health issues that we don't know about. But this is just looking at it from a standpoint of their weight and their height, right? Okay. So do you think that one number can summarize everything about a person's health? Okay, why?
It's because just like you mentioned before, it could be genetic, or probably. Let me get the question again. Okay, so one of the consumer no, because it could like a place of other different factors. I'm just throwing medical things here, so I don't really know.
Okay.
But I think it's like cholesterol, your blood type. I think if other parts of your body, it plays different factors into your health,
Right.
not just your weight and body mass, I guess.
Now, there's a direct correlation with like, not being overweight and not having as many health problems. But, I've seen people who are considered healthy or skinnier and they still have high cholesterol. Well, that's not good, right? Okay. Do you think that one number can give any information about a person's health? Do you think that this is helpful information to calculate a BMI?
I guess it's in certain situation. I mean, if you want to like work out, then it probably would be like, essential.
Okay. So BMI could be helpful. Be helpful with fitness journey. Okay, questions on BMI. Okay, on Tuesday, you'll have a quiz over BMI and how to calculate it. Remember, I'll give you the formula, but you have to have those conversions memorized. Okay, go ahead and look at the next page. We're going to talk about a different one, waist to height ratio. I feel like this is a little bit more accurate because it's taking into account how big your waist is versus how tall you are, right? Okay. All right, so excess fat around midsection is known to increase the risk of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. According to the National Institute for Health and Care, people should have a waist measure that is less than 1/2 of their height. So if you're below that 1/2 on the waist to height ratio, then you should be good. Okay. The ratio of waist to height means waist divided by height. Okay. So looking at this, similar kind of chart that we've been dealing with, but we're going to deal with our waist and our height. So Amy or Ami, depending on how you want to read that, is 5'4" and has a waist of 34 inches. What is her waist to height ratio? Okay. Now you have to make sure that they're in the same units. Okay. So both have to be in inches. All right. So right here we have 5'4". This means 5 feet 4 inches, right? How many inches are in 1 foot? 12. So 1 foot equals 12 inches. You got to have that memorized. Okay. So if I say 5 feet, how many inches is that total? If I say 5 feet, how many inches is that total? 60. So we would do 5 times 12. That would give us 60. Plus she has this 4 inches. So that would be 64 inches is how tall she is, right? So now we're going to do waist divided by the height. So how big was her waist? 34.5 divided by our height, which was 64 inches. And when we do that, we're going to get 0.539. Now looking at our chart, we're assuming that Amy's a girl, right? 0.539 falls in here, right? So we've got, she's overweight to very overweight, right? I'm sorry, overweight. She's just overweight. Overweight. Okay. Questions on that? Can you try the next section? Can you try the waist to height ratio and the BMI? Go ahead and take a couple of seconds. Try that next section. Okay, Fred has a waist of 36 inches and a height of 6'2". Okay, we're going to do the waist to height. So we're going to convert 6'2" into inches, and that should be how much? So what's 6 times 12? Okay, and then plus those 2 inches at the end. So that should be 74. Yeah. Okay, then we're going to do our waist divided by our height. And what does that give me? 36 divided by 74, 48.48. So what category does that put him in? Healthy, right? All right, now BMI. We're trying to calculate BMI. Remember, that's going to be kilograms divided by meters squared. So the first thing we got to do is convert these pounds into kilograms. So what's 210 divided by 2.2? 210 divided by 2.2? 95.45 kilograms. Okay. And then we're going to take 74 inches and convert it into meters, which is going to be 1.88 meters. So now to calculate that BMI, we're going to say 95.45 divided by 1.88 squared. Don't forget the squared. And that's going to give me 27.0. So what category does that put him in? Overweight. So how did he go from healthy to overweight? Huh? The BMI, right? Is the BMI a really good depiction of it? No. Yeah. So what can these ratios tell you? Do you think Fred is overweight? And what would cause his waist to height ratio to be normal, but his waist, is his weight to be high? So why does he have a big weight, but he's considered healthy when it comes to his waist to height? He's tall. We don't know about his muscle mass, right? Anything else that goes into play there? Do you think Fred is overweight? Nah, he's probably about on par, so he's pretty healthy.
Well, it's suggesting he's got a lot of muscle mass in his legs and his arms. His waist is
Tiny.
developed.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever measured your waist? Yeah. Do you know where your waist is? Better question. Okay, so if you go from your belly button and then around, okay?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So belly button and around. Okay. Your waist is not down here at your hips. It's at your belly button. Okay. All right. Cool. Questions on this? Did you learn something about health and fun and mathy stuff? Yes, no, maybe? Yes. Okay. All right. So what I'd like for you to do, I'm going to post a question up on the board. There are some sticky notes on your desk, or there should be some sticky notes on your desk. Go ahead and pass those around. Put your name on the back of that sticky note. Put your name on the back of that sticky note. Okay. And I want you to answer this question. I'm going to post it up on the board. I'm going to write it up here. Okay. So you're going to answer this question. So Brad is 68 inches tall and weighs 210 pounds. Calculate his BMI. All right, so on the sticky note, you're going to put your name on the back, but you're going to write out your answer on the front. Once you're done, you're going to stick it up on the board. Okay? And I want to see, okay, so in your portal, it says like additional resources. It'll say Delta Math. Okay, and that's the one that you're going to click on. They're going to go to Delta Math under your portal. Okay. And then click on the one that says percent change, and then go ahead and get started on that one. Okay. Are there any questions about where it's located? Got it? Okay. Go ahead and get started on that.